What has been nearly 5 years since the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police. A video capturing it sparked protests around the country and new attention to racial justice. But now, half a decade later, what, if anything, has changed? Joining me now is Marc Morial. He's the president and CEO of the National Urban League, which today just put out a new report on that exact issue. 5 years later after George Floyd, what exactly has changed? So, Marc, thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So talk to us, big level overview, where are we?
Let's remember that moment, the death of George Floyd. Chauvin had his knee on his neck, and the world witnessed a death on video. And the world, not only the nation, but the world responded. But the response was not just outrage, but it was also a call to action. So there was this effort towards police reform. Even at that moment, President Trump, at the time, made a statement that was supportive of George Floyd and signed an executive order. There were many, many efforts to create more significant changes in how police departments operated when it came to excessive use of force. And the Biden administration and its Justice Department and its Civil Rights Division secured 180 convictions and investigated numerous police departments and prisons for abuse. I would say that in the 5-year period, important positive steps were made. But now they're threatened because the new administration walked in and froze all civil rights investigations. Did not freeze some, froze all. And so now I'm greatly concerned that whatever progress we've made is now being undermined and eroded.
Yeah. I mean, that report, it doesn't sugarcoat where things are.
No.
I mean, you talk about George Floyd Policing Act, never happened. DEI jobs, I think it's noted in there, are on their way down. And now you have a president who has blamed DEI for random things like plane crashes, for example. So where is it that you are seeing progress, where you are seeing some positive?
So in this moment, on the diversity, equity, and inclusion front, it's a mixed bag. Too many have stepped away. Many have held firm. Apple and Costco and a number of others have in effect defeated shareholder resolutions which would have rolled back their commitment. A number of other companies have made what I call cosmetic changes, but have maintained the commitment, but too many have stepped away. Look, let's just deal with the fundamental issue. What diversity, equity, and inclusion is, it's all about the American value proposition of equal opportunity. It's just about everyone having an opportunity for the job, for the scholarship, for the promotion, for the business opportunity. And that's a value proposition. America has to maintain that commitment. So to the extent that the president and his administration are trying to retrench, there's a coalition of Americans, and I think a majority of Americans, who are going to push back, who are going to fight, and who are going to try to, if you will, push the nation towards a more equitable future.
Yeah. Looking outside of D.C., obviously a huge focus after George Floyd on police departments and training, how police officers deal with traumatic, stressful situations. How much progress has there been there?
I think there's been progress, but more needs to be done. And we have to get out of the trap of it's either being pro-police or anti-police. We've got to embrace what I call improving public safety. And that means in America today, a police officer is not just chasing a robber or a drug dealer. A police officer all too often is responding to a mental health crisis, a domestic dispute, a family conflict, if you will. So the training needed, the method of responding has to be changed. It has to be different. So there's many progressive police chiefs out there. There are many people trying to, but we've got to continue to make progress. Has progress been made? It's not enough. But progress has been made. And I take my hat off to the many, many people, from activists to police officers to accountability agents, who've worked very hard to bring about the kind of change. But the biggest thing that concerns me now is the signal being sent from Washington, that somehow this is not important. It is important. We've got to continue to reform and change policing so we have safer communities.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Not many people are talking about that George Floyd Policing Act. I assume it'll probably come up again as we do get closer to that 5-year mark.
Yeah,
So
I think it's going to be, look, we have to continue. So while the George Floyd Justice and Policing Bill has a tough time in the Congress, mainly because of the Senate filibuster and some reluctance, cities and states, mayors and council members, county commissioners, state legislatures can do things on their own. Many have, and I want to encourage them to continue to push for change. It doesn't all have to come top down. It can occur at the local level.
Another report you have out today. You guys have been busy. This is about tax incentives, but it's worth bringing up because we've been following so closely what's going on Capitol Hill right now, the debate over President Donald Trump's tax bill. What are some of the major initiatives you would like to see?
So the tax plan that's pending in the Congress is a bad plan for most American people. It would give 70% of the benefits to the top 5%. Our plan is different. It says cut taxes in half for Americans making less than $100,000 a year. Who makes less than $100,000 a year? 85% of Americans make less. Now, there's also 900 billionaires in America. Those billionaires have more wealth, times 2, than 150 million Americans. So we say put a 1%, just a 1%, wealth surcharge on those billionaires, and then you get a balanced plan. Let's truly, truly do something. Saying you're not going to tax tips if you're a tip worker, that may benefit. Saying you're not going to tax overtime, those are what are called teacup proposals. This is a full-body proposal. Cut taxes for those Americans making less than $100,000 a year, and do some things, expand earned income tax, child tax credit, new markets tax credit. You can also do some things that are going to channel investments into communities. So we have a plan. We think it's a better plan. We think it's a plan that's truly a plan that would benefit working Americans of all backgrounds, races, creeds, colors, religions, and regions.
All right, Marc Morial, we will have to have you back as this tax plan continues to develop. National Urban League, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.